What is a mob in the current form, the modern form? It is quite similar to every other time that mobs have taken over uh, education and politics and other things, but it always has its own special spice to it, I guess. And it usually works in the same way, but we'll look at the modern version and reflecting a little on the past as well. So the way I think about the mob is that there is first a facade. So a facade is a um, fake exterior to a building, but also to a cause. Then you have the gateway that leads into or through the facade, and it's usually some slogan, but these days it is, I would say, um, something like "Save the Children," and this isn't really that unique these days, or in the world and history and so on. Um, no one can really disagree with it. So that is how you pull people through the gateway by saying something like this. And from a distance, it looks pretty good. So you have the nice facade, you have the gateway, which rarely people can really disagree with, and then you walk in through the door, and that's what I call the lock that you are now stuck behind. So you've walked in, and then the lock is usually, or I would dare say always, it is fear. So the gateway gets closed behind you, you're inside the facade, and now you cannot leave because the simplest form is violence, which is a part of the current one. So it is the result of the certain ideology uh, called Islam, which is a fear-based system, but it also uses these other ones. But violence is a very large part of Islam as a religion, and it's a cultural thing as well. But then there is the exclusion and the fear of the wrath of the mob, because you know that you know how the mob operates. So you've gone through the door and you see it. So you're going to face every actually dishonorable is a better way of describing it. So you walked in and you see how things actually are, and now you're stuck because you know what they can do and what they will do to you. Now, there's a certain level of, let's say, somebody sitting outside the facade, of course, proverbially speaking, and many times literally speaking. They sit on a table outside, and they don't really know what the fuck is going on. So they just sit there and they call people to come in through the gateway. So they haven't really gone through. These people are quite innocent many times, so they do it as a hobby type of thing, and they don't really know how to think, maybe, or they've never really thought about it. They're busy doing other things. And then there are those who know how it works, but they do it anyway because that's the way they want to do it. So the rules inside this, call it gated community, are quite simple usually. So you need to be vague, and this is for the modern version. So you got to be vague instead of specific. So you just say words and they don't really mean anything. You shout slogans and you don't understand what they mean. And then emotion trumps, of course, reason. So if you are emotional, that's good. If you are reasonable, that's bad. And then unskilled is preferable to skilled. And the reasons behind these can be found in the past, but I think the reason that we find them in the past is that there is a certain theme, underlying theme when it comes to mobs in general. But there's usually two types of systems. The first one is these guys who are very specific in what they want to do, in a sense. So they want a top high society where everybody below this line is always cut off. So that's their system. And then we have the modern version, which is more in line with these people who want this weird system where it's bottom heavy, but then they of course have this hidden top that is the authority that is peaking up there, hidden. So it's a similar system, but the force is pushing downward. But this side is more based on sort of an upward current of meritocracy, in a sense, and then this one is based on social justice, which demands that there be no high-ups, but of course there always is. And then both of these are, I would say, equally bad. In the current situation, you have a little Jewish state that is powerful, so it is not this system, but it is a top pushing system. So it is a skill-based system. They try to be reasonable, and they like to be very specific with their words. And so it is automatically, I need to add the final thing, which is weak versus powerful. And if someone is powerful, which they are in comparison, they're a very small nation currently and will be for forever, I would imagine. There's not that many countries that have had any Jewish kings or presidents or whatnot, but they are probably going to be powerful as long as they stay all these other things. And so everything that happens is always seen through this lens, through these things. And then you have these people who are very superficially kind. So I would say I'll add that here as well. So superficiality versus depth. So not in the sense that someone looks good, though that is in a way a big part of it as well, how people look. It's not that people need to look a certain aesthetic. They do, but not a sort of powerful aesthetic. So they don't want people to look like skilled athletes and things like that. So everything is very superficial, so you never dig deeper than the facade. So all hell is breaking loose back here. Nothing really makes any sense, and everything is run on emotion. It's pure chaos. But I guess there's so much to say, but that's a good reason usually to stop when there's too much to say. So I'll just leave it at this. Goodbye.